Hello everybody, it is me Darcy, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to this, the Unnamed Podcast, where I sit here with this guy.
Yep.
For about a time, talking rubbish or whatever else comes to my mind, always my mind, barely over his mind, because I have a mind and he does not.
Hey, whoa, hang on.
I feel that's fair.
I have a mind. Just don't always use it while I'm here.
I have half a mind.
I didn't say half a mind.
Slap you.
Should have seen that one coming.
I love it.
Fucking time.
And because I did it, not half mind, full mind.
God damn.
Anyway guys, welcome back, to winter. It's winter here.
It is, yeah.
It's, you know, it's been a bit of a weird winter for us personally, not for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know about everyone, but you know, this winter's actually been cold-ish.
It was last week.
Yeah.
It actually
Usually
was.
winter
Yeah.
here, you know, it's like, hey, there's one day where it's like chilly, but
Yeah.
no, this year it's been like,
Something's happening.
well, it's been wet as well, which is completely unusual for winter.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah.
you know, it's almost like Rockhampton's actually getting seasons for once.
I know, right?
Although I did not get autumn. I was away for autumn, but I got autumn. This place did not get autumn.
No, we didn't. It's, yeah.
But yeah, let's get things started the way we often do with a little bit of channel news. Kris, take it away.
Indeed. So, Monday was Coral Island.
It was Coral Island.
Yes.
Guys, good news about that. Farming. No, my farm is terrible at the moment, because I'm putting like absolutely no effort into it, and I actually got like an bird's eye view of it.
What's the point in not putting effort into it?
Well, because it's like I've got to get all the, I've got to upgrade my tools and do all this kind of stuff so I can actually start clearing out the area around my farm.
Okay.
So I got a bird's eye view of it in this episode that's recently come out, and it's like there's my house, this tiny little patch where I'm gardening, and then most of it is just like shit. It looks like shit. And I'm just like, oh, wow, that's a disappointment. But I've started mining so I can start upgrading my tools, so I can start doing everything just a little bit better.
Obviously.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But other than that, guys, it's Coral Island. You know, it's a nice chill game.
Pretty straightforward.
Lots of ecological kind of, you know, messaging. Hey, oil spills are bad. So is pollution and rubbish. Recycle, you know, that's the kind of stuff that it's like, and I'm like, that's cool.
When you do recycle in this game, you do have to use trash to build things.
Yeah, you also just there's also like a whole recycling center on the island.
Yeah,
like that's like
I can't say I had seen that when I played it.
It's because like honestly, I don't think it ever actually did anything.
No,
like I know it's a game that's like got lots of updates to come to it. That's the big thing. It's got a lot of updates that still need to happen to it. Because there's a few things that have like as I've played I've gotten to endpoints and it's like cool. There's like nothing here. After all of that, there's like the payoff is like a little empty area.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, that's going to get changed when we get there. And it's like, okay, that's cool.
Fair enough.
So the recycling center has always just kind of been like deserted.
Okay.
And like even when you got like to like end game with high scores, it was like, oh, there was nothing there. They're fixing that. So that's like actually doing stuff now. But you know, as I said, I really like it, the game. Like I was a big fan of Stardew Valley. I say was. I haven't played it in ages, but I really did enjoy that game, and I love that this is like kind of a similar idea, just with less pixely graphics. Now, for me, like graphics aren't the biggest thing, but I do prefer better graphics to worse graphics.
Obviously,
it just makes the game look nicer, and it kind of makes it look like I'm playing a game from the modern era, as opposed to
opposed to like the early 90s.
Yeah,
or earlier.
Yeah. So you know, like I do appreciate that about it. Graphics wise, I'm like I really do prefer slightly better graphics.
Cleaner.
I prefer them. It's not a
It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And it's also not something that's gonna make me be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely playing this game because it looks the best. No, it still has to be a game that
No,
I actually
it still actually has to be a good game.
want to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with Coral Island.
So,
There are a few things that I kind of wish that would be explored a bit more. I always kind of want those like little cozy games to have a little bit more to them.
yeah.
And I think the best kind of one that I've ever come across was probably Animal Crossing, the new one. Is that New Horizon? I don't remember.
I don't know.
But like the fact that it's like, okay, you've got your little island here that you're in control of and doing all this kind of stuff, and then you can travel to other islands and just go ham on them.
Yeah.
And then come back and they're like random. I really wish more more of these like games like Stardew Valley and Coral Island had that as an option.
Yeah.
Where it's like, cool, like Coral Island has that whole thing of like, it's an island, there's boat, there's like a sailor dude, but I feel like it doesn't really take advantage of that. There's a few things where you go off to like these little areas for like specific events, and you go to these little areas and they're like, cool, this is that. I really, really wish that they were like, oh yeah, there's like, you can go to other islands where like you can explore and they're just randomly generated. Because I think that, so it's like, you go there, maybe there's a small little hub area, and it's like, but once you leave, the surrounding area will never be the same because it's just randomly generated.
That'd be
and
nice.
I think in the modern era, it's easy to do that, and that way you can add in things like you can add in more rarity with stuff like the fishing and the insect hunting.
Yeah, true.
And even like the mining and stuff, you can add in more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you can have this area where it's like you go there and yeah, it's randomly generated, but in those randomly generated areas are these, you might randomly walk into a place that has high levels of finding that.
Yeah.
And that way you can kind of pull it away from having to have all the exploration in the main world, like for Coral Island, on the actual island you were on.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, that's where the town is, and yes, there's this exploring part and this exploring part and this exploring part, but there's also this just randomly generated island where if you go there, it's all about exploring. There's no, it's randomly generated, so it's never going to be the same. It just has a few, kind of things. And I get that that's a little bit harder with a game that looks like Coral Island than, a Pokemon-esque game from the mid-2000s where it's like, tree is this sprite.
Yeah,
Path of trees. But, like, I just feel like that's what all of these games kind of need, is just like an area where it's like random generated exploring, because that's kind of where you fall to in the end. Once you've kind of got a lot of stuff set up in these games, it's kind of automatic, you're not really doing anything other than just doing the exploring side there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, the game's constantly being worked on, so maybe they will add something like that, or, add in more stuff to spend your massive amounts of money you get when you get towards endgame on, so.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, but yeah, that's kind of where I sit with everything. I'm just kind of like, for all of these games, I really wish they would think about like the end game cycle, because that's what you're always working towards, and that's where you need to kind of keep the player interested. It's very easy to keep a player interested in the very early parts of the game where there's actually
There's
stuff
a lot
to
of
do.
stuff happening, yeah, which is pretty common.
Yeah. But once you get to late game, it's like, oh, well, I've already done this. Oh, I've already done this. Or I've already done that. And so what's really going to keep them back is an exploration where there's a chance to, get rare resources or find, rare insects or fish or whatever. Like the stuff that's really hard to get and is really specific
Yeah.
You know, having a place where the chances to find them are higher, but it's all randomly generated, and you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that every kind of company that like wants to make a game where it's like, oh yeah, the cycle gets easier as the game goes on, as you work more towards late game, needs to understand that as things get easier, there's actually less for the player to do.
True. Yes.
Yeah. Coral Island, great game. I actually really do enjoy playing it. It's one of those cozy little kind of shut your brain down games. Don't have to think too much about it. That I really just love.
Well, that's too easy. Well, from there, moving on. So Wednesday. Notice I'm not saying today this time. We are recording on Thursday.
It doesn't matter. You should never say today. You should always just say Wednesday, because then
I'm gonna do it.
Here's the crazy thing, and this is what I always have trouble getting into Chris's mind. If you don't say things like today and just say things like Wednesday, it actually doesn't matter when you record it. You can record it on Wednesday. You could record it on a Thursday. You could record it on a Monday.
Yeah.
But if you just like say the day instead of referencing it in, you know, as if you're actually there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're not when you're recording something. It's crazy how that works.
No, yeah, I know, right?
It almost like it takes away any issues that you might have from using familiar language and just being like, hey, on Wednesday this happened. It's like, cool, when was that filmed? Doesn't matter, because I literally told you the day it was done.
Yeah.
I didn't say something like, hey, yesterday. I was like, oh, well, hang on. Are you talking about yesterday from when you filmed it, or from when you put it out, or from like today when I'm watching it?
Yeah.
Who knows? So we just say Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm aware. That's why I still say Wednesday.
Fucking little bitch.
But anyway, it was.
Beat you silly.
Anyway, it was our next part of Satisfactory.
It was part 2 of the continuation of Satisfactory. Obviously, as I've said in the past, the way we like to do it is we like to film 2 parts at once. That way, there's a little bit of cohesion between a couple of episodes that are coming out, and we kind of remove a bit of fucking around. Basically, whenever we start, and you'll notice this whenever we're saying it's part 1, whenever we start, there's probably about 10 good minutes of like just not having any real direction.
Yeah, because we're trying to remember either remember what we were doing or figure out what we're going to do next.
And it's really important. Like, you can't get rid of that, because it's the human thought process. It's like, okay, hang on, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. Okay, how am I going to prioritize this?
Yeah.
Whereas when we do 2 episodes at once, it's like, yes, that happened in the first episode, but in the second one, we are more on point. We know what we're doing because we've been doing it for already. So this is part 2 of us trying to, I'm not going to say solve, because we weren't really solving the power issue.
No.
We were
pushing it further down the track.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. We were kicking that can down the track.
Yes.
The reality is, there has been some updates to Satisfactory, and I'm fairly sure those updates have made adjustments to certain things, which is fine.
Either with the output of the generators or the necessity from each machine. We don't know which one, but it definitely made a difference when we turned it back on.
Basically, changes happened, and this is fine. We don't care about changes. We're not sitting there being like, it was better before. No. Changes happen, but we have to adjust to them.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where we found ourselves. So we went out, we did some stuff. In this episode specifically, I actually go out to try and find slugs, because we often want slugs when we're building new stuff just to make it faster. This time we actually needed slugs to bring our power usage back, or our power supply more accurately, back to something that was reliable.
Yes, and definitely when we played this the first time, we had slugs in everything, and every generator, but we hadn't actually put many in them yet. because we only had, well, I think I only had, what, 3 that had some in it?
Something like that. I
Yeah,
can't remember.
it wasn't enough.
But basically, yeah. So after what I think was a very fun like first episode,
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Running around calling you a coward.
That's right, you were too.
Very good episode, guys. You should definitely check
That's
out
like-
the first part. But then you should also check out.
But you could
this
also
part.
see me trying to hunt him down as he calls me a coward.
Dude, that was hilariously funny. I
Fuck's
was
sake.
it was just so brilliant, like how everything in that episode played out.
Oh, yeah. Especially, like, just being like, cowards, like, that's it, I'm coming, go to where your name is. It's like, I thought you were here. You're gone. Where the fuck did you go? Have a look around, give up, see your name again, chase you back down. It was a that was my thought process, is I just had to hunt him down.
Dude, mine, I just love mine. Like, I just, like, rocked up and was... the reason I was calling him a coward was, like, he had spent, like, the episode... I'd spent the first half of the episode, like, getting back to base from where I'd left off.
Yeah.
And then I'd just done some, like... I think I'd gone and done some science and stuff. So I kind of been, like, walking around, and the whole time Kris is trying to solve the electrical issue. So then I just, like, go, like, okay, I'll just come over and have a look. And I get there and just start slamming slugs into things.
Yes.
And the problem is solved. It's not solved properly, it's not solved efficiently, but the problem is solved. We can have everything turned back on.
So
now.
you kicked the can down the road, I kicked it a little further down the road by making more generators.
Yes. So basically, I got there, we could turn everything back on. And because I'm me, and I'm fairly sure Kris had said something like, you don't do anything, or something like that, or he said something about like me contributing to the power issue, and I was
That
just
would
like,
be it. Yeah, that actually sounds correct.
and he's like, you haven't done anything to help with the power, you've just done science or something, and he's like, and what do we have to show for that? So I got there, chip on my shoulder, shoved some slugs in things, fixed the problem, which is like, I was the bold hero we needed. I just got here and I was like, turn up the fucking... Oh, we need more power? Put all the generators to max.
Yeah.
No forethought in what I was doing, just doing things, which is very, very on point for me. And, especially in Satisfactory. Mainly only in Satisfactory, but...
For the most part, yes.
But you know, that's the thing, and I was like, I did that, and it was hilariously funny because it did. Stupidity did ensue, but
Yep.
you know, like that happens.
Especially when we're both involved. It's just so much worse.
This one, this current episode builds on that, and like it is. I think it is something that when you do watch them, you should take into account that they are separate yet parts of the same thing, because if you see them as that, you'll be sitting there going, oh, okay, this kind of makes sense as to why this is the storyline that's playing out, because then I go off exploring. I have my own goals, obviously, that I want to achieve, but I also need to get slugs, and so a lot of my exploring in this episode is me trying to get slugs to solve, or at least alleviate the issues that have come with my before mentioned boldness of just ramming slugs into things. Well,
Yeah.
it sounds like it's a problem, guys, but if the thing is, if I ram slugs into enough things, all the problems are solved.
No.
Yes?
No, because if we have more factory than generator, then slugs in everything and maxed out is still a heavy load on the generators.
Yeah, but then
which may be too heavy, therefore it's not going to solve the issue. It's going to cause more of a problem.
But then if I shove slugs into the power supply, then they produce more power.
Yeah, but there's still a limit to that.
They need more water.
Exactly.
And then if I shove slugs into the water supply, then they produce more water. So it just seems like the answer to all life's problems is shove slugs into everything.
At a certain point, that ends.
Shove slugs.
I mean, you fixed the water issue. That's about all you've done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about all that's happened. All we've done with everything else is slamming slugs into other things. Yes, speeds up other things. Fantastic. But it then means we need more and more power supply. And in doing that, There's a limit to the amount of slugs we can get.
This means we need more
Because
slugs.
they don't respawn. They're
No,
just
that's
gone.
not true. That's not true anymore.
Wait.
But anyway.
Wait, they've changed that?
No, but they've made changes. See, this is why I stick to the science and you stick to mundane building things.
You fuck.
But yeah,
you know the point of the game.
But yeah, no. So basically, this episode is the continuation. I'm out there looking for slugs as well as other things that I'm chasing to help my science. Kris is trying to. I think in this episode you're just fixing a few things around.
Trying to get the flow of things being made a bit nicer.
Also asking a lot of stupid questions. I definitely remember that from editing.
Probably, yeah.
Like literally at one point you're looking at something and you're like, I don't see it, and you're staring directly at it, and I'm like, oh, wait, how can you not see it? And then I get there and you're like, oh wait, no, I see it. I just wasn't looking before, and you're looking in exactly the same spot you were looking before.
No, there's a high chance that it was one of those situations of I was saying I was looking, I had the intention of looking, but I wasn't.
Dude,
it just wasn't happening.
It is. There is literally a point where you're like, I'm like, there's a box there, and you're like, what box? And it's the box is in the center of your screen, and you're just like, what box?
Yeah. No, it's because for some reason, even though I was looking for a box, it being in the center of the screen, for some reason my brain was just registering. It's like, that's a minor. We're good. I can ignore that, and then just kept ignoring it, and then I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit, those were boxes. Damn.
Yeah, so yeah, that episode's there. Yeah. However, I think the next episode of Satisfactory is going to be a little bit more interesting. Obviously, Satisfactory has had the 1.1 update come out, which is great. I've read about that, and let me tell you, it's made some changes, which is fun for us. One of the big changes is there is now hypertube splitters.
Oh.
So, you know that thing we were talking about? I don't know when, but we were definitely talking about it and being like, oh, it'd be great if you could split off a hypertube.
I don't remember the conversation.
It was literally when I was building the hypertube. It was literally the episode, I think, after I built the hypertube.
Probably, yeah.
Because we were talking about how it's really good because it gets you from
A to B
incredibly quickly, but there's
it
places
doesn't get us to C or D.
There's places on the way to A to B that we want to be able to stop at.
Yeah.
Well, in update 1.1, you can now do that.
That'll be interesting.
Yes.
I'm intrigued to see how that's going to work. For one, I'm assuming we've just got to maybe press something while we're in the tube or hold the direction.
I would
for
say
it.
More
but
it's not a 90-degree split; it's a Y split.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
So it'll be like as you're approaching, if you want to go the way you're going, I imagine you don't touch anything. If you want to split off, you press towards the split.
Yeah, but we'll figure that out when we jump in next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a few other things that I have now found that I'm like, oh, I can actually use that for this, and that would actually be pretty brilliant. So,
and in the next episode as well, other than the 1.1, we will finally be advancing.
Yes,
because we're almost there. We just need a few more of one thing,
which I think also goes back to like quite literally the last, not the last episode, but the last two-parter we made.
Yeah.
Which also had me screaming at you because
it's a common thing when we play this game.
Like, guys, the thing you gotta understand is like
I have too many things.
There was nothing set up for anything, and I was really like,
I kept saying we really need to do it because I was sort of just finishing the tasks to actually finish the part we were at, but also trying to set up the power. So not focusing on getting the new stuff to advance further.
And basically that built us up into a giant bottleneck where we could not advance anymore because we hadn't done the task. And, you know, that's fine because, like, in my mind I was like, oh, well, it'll take us a while to get the task done. But, you know.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a lot faster than the first time we played this.
Yeah.
That's for
sure.
But
I'm, like, sitting there going, it'll take us a little while to get the task done. But then we were kind of hitting this bottleneck, and I'm like, okay, well, we've had this task for a while, so there should be some supplies. And the answer was no. There's no supply. We haven't even started building half of this stuff. And
no, I've been doing other shit over here.
What the fuck?
Look, I've been setting other stuff up.
And then I went into rage building mode, where I was just like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck everything. I'm just here to get this done.
Yep.
And that actually probably led to some of the problems we had in the more modern, in the new ones.
100%.
Because I was just like, we need this. So I just set up, and instead of like figuring it out and doing it as I normally would by being like, hey, I've got this options here, I've got this. I just went, fuck it, I'm building it, and built like entire processing lines to build stuff.
Yep.
Even though probably wasn't necessary to do that. It was just like, no, fuck this. I'm boom. We're done. That's done. That's set up now.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we always kind of have to watch out for as well.
Very much so.
Because whilst Annoyed Darcy is amazing at getting shit done, it's not done efficiently.
No, because it will definitely cause a problem down the track.
It's just like,
I
need 100 machines to do this. Here's 100 machines. And it's like, wait, you only needed 50 if you used 100 machines.
Yeah. And then it just becomes a situation of, this time I'm not the one who made the mess.
My stuff is not messy. My stuff is all in perfect lines. Set that up.
I mean, true, yes. They are in lines. However, with it being in amongst the mess, it's just added to the mess.
Well, to be fair, I also was pioneering going under.
Well, yes, we did start. Well, you did actually do a lot of that in our previous playthrough, yes.
Yeah, and I did a lot of it in the stuff I built. If I was pulling stuff from what you were doing, I was pulling it underneath. If it wasn't perfectly in line with the stuff I was doing, I was pulling it underneath so that it wasn't.
Well, I mean, I'm at least doing it at the steel production. Just don't look underneath, please.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're sitting with Satisfactory. Hopefully we'll be back in that soon because, as I said, there's a few things that I've got to do to hopefully get everything running nice and smoothly.
Oh, and we'll have to see if I can record it. Last time they did a major update, but until they did then major fixes, I couldn't record because it was causing my game to lag out and crash while trying to do the recording. I could play, I just couldn't record.
Weird.
Yeah. Just draw too much from the game, so it put too much of a stress on the actual laptop because I don't have a PC at this stage. So yeah, it was crashing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's Satisfactory. Obviously on Friday we have the podcast. Hello, thank you for joining us. If you are, if you're not, hello as well.
Yes.
And then on Saturday we have Minecraft, and it will actually be a Minecraft this week, guys.
This is the first part of a challenge.
Yeah, me and Kris. Yeah. Oh, technically it's a build. It's not the first part of a challenge. It's building towards a challenge.
Yeah, true, yes.
So me and Kris are using the Wharf District that I've built with its, like, as I said, contemporary architecture that I'm very proud of because it
is actually very nice and it worked well.
It came out almost perfectly, which, considering it was based on something I'd done in the past, in the real world, in which I can use curves.
Yes.
Something that doesn't exist in Minecraft.
Exactly.
I was really proud of how I managed to establish that. But we're at the Wharf District where we're doing a build. Because there's both of us in it, it is sort of like the builds you would have seen before, but it's also slightly different in which
I'm actually task orientated.
Well, yes, but also like, we're chatting, we're just, talking about life in general, and Kris is also somehow managing to piss me off.
I don't know.
Thinking he's safe because he's in creative mode. So do check that out to see how I get back at him.
I don't even know what I did.
You should know what you did. You literally challenged me. You said, "What are you going to do about it?"
But what did I do to stop that? Oh, damn it.
You said something. You did say something that was like quite literally a challenge, and I was like,
Fuck, damn it.
"I'll come and get you," and you were like, "What are you gonna do about it?" And I was like,
Yeah, and then when you started doing it, I'd apparently completely forgotten about it because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing this
"It
for?
was like 4 seconds later."
Yeah, no, I already forgot. Apparently, I was focused
You
on what I was
literally
doing.
said, "What are you gonna do about it?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna do this about it." And then you were like, "Ah." Anyway,
Yeah, apparently.
anyway, guys, check that
Yeah.
one out. It will be out on Saturday.
Yes.
And you can see what we're doing. But we'll leave that to
Just
to those guys to explain.
yeah, we do a better job at explaining it on the day.
Hey,
'Cause
it's
we
more
were there.
exciting when you're there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, that other than that, subscriber count's now to 94.
Yep.
Last I checked, which was only about an hour ago.
it was the same as when last I checked, which was not an hour ago.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so there's that.
Really,
we've got
really
some,
close to breaking that 300.
definitely are. We've got some more recording to do. Other than that, we will
Always.
endeavor to get on top of that and probably do the same thing we usually do.
I also have more deleting to do. But the good news is that I'm like moving into my holiday period.
So yes, we should get a
So
little more
I should be able to get a lot more productive.
Yes. Me a little.
I should be able to resupply on my backlog of filming.
Yeah.
Which means that instead of having to choose between filming with Kris or filming solo, I can focus on filming with Kris when it's available because I will hopefully have a backlog of solo filming done. Yeah. The other big thing from that is, because I'm not going away for these holidays.
That's going to be a big help.
It does. You know, not being away for two weeks straight means that instead of, not being able to do anything for 2 weeks straight, I should be able to...
I know you did record and released one video.
Yes.
It was a short, but you released it.
I didn't release and record a short in that time.
Yes, you did.
I recorded and released the Anzac Day stuff. I literally did that the day I got back.
Yes. Wait, was it? No, I could have sworn you did something while you were away. It was a quick recording of you recording yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, you did one recording.
No.
Technically,
I did a lot of recording when I was away, because there's also the one with Jordan in the waterfall.
I thought you did those when you got back.
I'm pretty sure I also released the one of me in the fog when I got back. Oh, actually, yeah, right. You're right.
There was one. It was sort of an update.
Yeah. I think you are correct.
Yeah, there was an update while you
I
were
did do a quick update.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't remember.
Obviously.
But yeah, so I look forward to using the next. Well, technically, this is the funny thing about it. The schools here are all fucked up.
That's
like
right.
Seriously, one of them has started already on holidays now. They're already on holidays, but they still only have the same length of holidays as everyone else.
Why?
Who starts end of next week?
I thought it was just all the end next week.
They're going. They get their 2 weeks of holiday starting next week, and everyone else starts theirs at the end of next week. So they're going back to school a week before everyone else. And I'm just sitting there being like, you guys are dumb.
Yeah, no, obviously. What?
But it means that because of this, I sort of have like 4 weeks of holidays, almost a month. Now, it won't be all holidays.
No, but you will have to work slightly, but it'll only be very,
very, very easy weeks. Where it's like I have like 1 or 2 days of like students, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm just like, stupid schools.
Obviously. Jesus Christ.
Because I'm just sitting there, I'm like...
Normally,
you guys are going to be...
I thought you were going to say something, this school was just having an extra week.
That would literally make more sense.
I'm aware.
Like, just have 3 weeks of holidays. I'm like, because what you're going to be doing is you're going back to school.
Are they like a public school compared to a private school?
They are a private school.
So it's a private school that's why?
And I'm like, you guys will be back at school when everyone else is still on holidays. And because you're a private school, you have less of the population of the town going to your school. So more
Yeah.
people are going to be not going to school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't make sense for me from a standpoint because you guys get the extra week off beforehand, but you guys generally already have that because they always finish like Tuesday. When I say
Yeah.
finish, they still have like 2 more days, but like everything's due. So it's like, yeah, if you don't want to come Wednesday, Thursday,
Then it doesn't
come.
matter. Yeah.
We're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, this time they're like, no, we're finishing a week before everyone else. And we're coming back to school a week before everyone else. I'm like, that doesn't make sense, and that doesn't seem overly helpful for your students' productivity in that first week when a lot of the friends and people they know are still going to be on holidays.
So they're still going to want to talk to them, or here's the next thing: they may just not show up.
I'm sure they'll have to show up.
I mean,
because,
probably,
there's things, but I'm just
No, but they'd be more likely that like parents might turn around and be like, you know what, that is pretty stupid. He's sick this week.
There's a possibility.
Yeah.
The other thing that really, really boosts and helps me out as well is the fact that during the holiday period we obviously don't play softball. So I'll have a weekend. Just singular thing because it's only the middle weekend of the holidays. But I'll have a weekend back as well. So I'll have a good uninterrupted period where I don't have anything else to do, really.
Yeah.
And so my focus can be purely on that. So good times.
Perfect.
Good times. Hopefully we can get quite a bit done.
Hopefully, yeah.
Doesn't mean doing a lot of deleting though. I've got to get my deleting stuff on so I can just delete everything that's not important.
No, I'm not going to say it. But anyway, yeah.
Yes, that does involve everything Kris is in.
No, that's not what I was going to say. But either way, I think that pretty much wraps up channel.
Yeah, I don't think there's really much more to say on that. Dusted.
Yeah, let's move on. What have you got on your mind today?
What I got on my mind today? Well, as promised at the end of last episode, I did watch all of the game stuff that I could get my hands on from the announcements and everything. And look, I'm not gonna say I was unfair last week in my summary of it, where I was like, I'm pretty about the whole lot.
Yeah.
Look, there are more things that, as I was watching, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And there's some things that I couldn't really remember that I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually really cool, and I really want to, explore that. There is also a lot of kind of crap that I'm just like, I don't really care about. Not because it's not like, oh, that would be fun and that would be cool to do. There was actually quite a lot of that where it's like, oh, that looks like a fun little game, or oh, that looks like, a game that would be entertaining for a little while. Like, I think there was a lot of that kind of stuff where I was like, I'd be interested in playing that for just a little bit.
Did you write any of these down to remember?
No, because I don't think there was anything there that I was like, 100% I need to remember that game.
Fair enough.
There was a few things like the new Ninja Gaiden game, which I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I've never played any of the Ninja Gaiden games before.
Yeah,
fair. I own them. Don't get me wrong. Of course I own them. But I haven't played them.
Fair.
But, like, the new one looks good, and if you're into that style of game, it definitely is something you should check out. There was, that new one by Game Freak, which I have seen
a bit more of it.
Well, I actually had seen it when we were talking about it. I just didn't know it was by Game Freak. And again, that one looks kind of cool, but again, not really something that I'm super excited for because it's just not a game that I'm super excited for.
Whereas obviously, I might be because I think it seems to be my style of game.
Yeah. Obviously, there was more stuff on Dawnwalker.
Okay. Yep.
That vampire game. Which looks great, but I've already said that I'm excited for that game, and so pretty much anything else I see for it is just kind of like, I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, no, that does look like it'll be a fun game.
It seems it may have changed a little bit from the implications of the first trailer. So the first trailer was very much like the vampires were coming to save them.
Yeah,
sort of mentality. Not even like really that. It was just like the people were bad, right? The people were bad.
Yeah,
The
well, that's what we're
vampires
getting
were
from it.
vampires, so not good, but like they weren't
They weren't as
they
bad.
weren't the big evil it
Yeah.
appeared. It seemed like the sickness and the humans were the real thing, and the vampires were like, hey, we're just vampires. We do vampire things.
Yeah.
It does seem that they've kind of changed that mentality a little bit. So it's like the vampires are now the bad guys.
Okay. And
But I'm not 100% sure
I
if it
suppose
is
we
changed.
always sort of had our thoughts that it would always be a situation of like you can sort of choose which way to go.
Yeah,
So it kind of almost looked as if you were
but-
gonna have that option.
but I'm not gonna lie. So from that first trailer, it was kind of like like the main character asked to become a vampire,
Yeah.
which is very much changed in the new trailer, where it's like they turned me into a monster, and it's almost like it's implied that he wasn't
He didn't
his
want
choice.
it. Okay, yeah.
But he
fair.
definitely was like, save my sisters, and I'll do whatever you want. So
Yeah.
maybe that's again what it's implying when it says they turn me into a monster. He pretty much said, if you save my sister, I'll do whatever you want. And so you can say it wasn't really his choice.
Yeah.
And from the trailer, it's like, oh, the vampires have taken over. So it's not like it's not completely what we saw from that first trailer. It's just like the implications have changed.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to see from that first trailer where they kill the guys chasing him and stuff, and the vampires kind of say like, hey, we're going to save everyone, how they could take over and make everyone kind of their...
Yeah, which would be, in a manner of speaking, their way of saving everyone.
Well,
Which would be
becoming the rulers, and then the game taking place. It just seems it does seem like it's a bit of a shift where it seemed like the vampires were going to be like more, not the bad like not the bad guys, but more just like
Bad for a good cause.
I was gonna say more like their own kind of faction who are just trying to stop the spread of this plague. They're not good guys because they're not stopping it to save people. They're stopping it so that there's still people to eat.
Yeah,
But not like the main antagonist. Like you would actually be working alongside them, and I thought that would be really cool because it would be like you're the new guy learning how to use the powers from them and stuff like that. But where it kind of looks now, and again, this is all just from gameplay, but it kind of looks now like they have taken over and you're fighting back against them. And that could be cool as well, but
of course could.
I'm just like, okay, I didn't see this being the line from that first trailer. I didn't see this being the thing.
Yeah.
It looked to me in that first trailer like we were actually fighting back against the powerful humans and who have caused this disaster and are just massacring people because that's what they do.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But it still looks good. It still has some really, really freaking awesome stuff. Like there's this one thing where they show you like a church and like everyone's getting like the blood put on them and stuff like that. So it's like they've gone full crazy. Like the vampires have taken over. They're in charge, kind of stuff. But I do question how it will play out with that first story-based cinematic where it's like your sister is now a vampire as well. So is it like...
exactly. It was the only way to save her. So
yeah, but it's like, is she now going to be part of the bad guys because she's a vampire and like...
they saved her life.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit interested in how that storyline is going to play out. But all I can really say is it looks good, it looks fun, it looks very much like it was made by the people who made The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And I'm as I said, I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah.
I really like that game. It looks fucking awesome.
It does.
And so I'm here for whatever changes they make to the story.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I can understand them changing certain aspects and being like, oh yeah, sort of hard to play vampires as the good guys.
Yeah.
And so, especially when you want to like have like monster fighting stuff. But then again, there's also like other things we see in the kind of gameplay stuff where I'm like, I'm not even sure if that is like a vampiric monster. So it could be like, there could be lots of like kind of bad factions that you're kind of dealing with. But yeah, so that's as I said, that's a game that I'm already excited for. We saw a little bit more on.
Yeah. Just have to wait and see for more
As we talked
information.
about last week, the Gears of War that's getting a new update,
Yeah.
updated version, which is cool, but only really if it means that they're going to do
The
all
next
the
ones,
first
yeah.
games. Like if they're going to do all 3 of the first games, that would be cool. If they're just going to do what they did last time, they updated Gears of War 1. What's the point?
Yeah.
You've already got an updated Gears of War 1 if you're just going to update it again and then leave it and not going to do the whole updated trilogy.
And we've got a bit of time to find out anyway.
Yeah, but
Once we...
I'm the reason I say that is because they did the same thing with Halo. Halo 1 anniversary, Halo 2 anniversary. We never got a Halo 3 anniversary.
True, yeah.
So it's like, oh, we've updated them. Oh, we're not updating the last one. Why? There's no point in that.
Yeah.
So unless this is going to lead to Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3 getting remasters so they look brilliant, that's cool, but it's not really relevant.
True.
There was another Sims-esque game. There's already been one announced that's
I think I saw something
out.
on one of those. I can't remember what it was though.
Yeah. But like this one's sort of more cartoony.
Yeah.
There's another one that's out in early access called Inzo, which was in the game stuff last year, sorry, not last week. Last year, which I'm actually more excited for that one because it does actually look cooler and I will be getting that one and playing it and seeing what it's done.
Fair.
There's nothing wrong with this one if you're into those games. It's just it's a more cartoony style and I'm like that's cool, but
Yeah.
you only need so many of these games. And you don't get me wrong, I am someone who plays The Sims, and I am looking for something that is better than The Sims, because
Fair.
The Sims is EA and has that very predatory kind of, oh, you want new stuff? That'll be $50 for the new expansion, and this game's going to have 150 expansions. And so a game where it's like, not so much that, and, if they're adding new stuff to it and stuff, it's like, yeah, because of our system, it seems like these are going to be slightly better than The Sims in terms of they won't charge you an arm and a leg every couple of months because, oh, we've got a new expansion that adds something to the game. It's like, why not just add that to the game? Because we want your money. So,
Pretty much, yeah.
anything that's like better than The Sims in terms of like its predatory market kind of shit is good. Especially considering like they want like $50. It's like, why do you want $50? Because we've added pets to the game. That is not worth $50.
No.
But it is because we said so. Yeah, anything that's better than that is good. And lots of people like The Sims. Like lots of casual gamers play The Sims.
Oh yeah, so it's a very common game to be played.
Exactly. It's also a very common game for
people to dislike.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say for like girls.
Yes.
Girls tend to play it a lot. It like
I'm aware.
Especially back when I was like in my teenage years, it was like guys played Call of Duty, girls played The Sims.
It's still kind of the case, to be honest.
Yeah. Because it's just a fun kind of building game, really. That's all it really
Pretty
is.
much. Plus, like a life takes place there, and some of them like that.
Yeah.
Like I know some people like they'll play it, and it's very much like you. You're just there to build.
Yeah.
Build a house. See that it looks good. Follow a theme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As I said, there was a lot of stuff that was kind of cool. Some stuff that I was just kind of like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And there was quite a few indie things, as I said, that are like, oh, that's kind of cool. But you kind of sit there and you go like, I don't see myself playing that. It does have like some coolness to it, but it doesn't have longevity.
Yeah, fair.
And I can kind of be okay with that with some indie games. Like if I spend like $20 on a game that's like fun to play with my mates every now and then, I'm not angry with that. But I'm not in the habit of anymore, at least. I'm not in the habit anymore of like buying these big games that are like 10 hours in, you're like, this game sucks.
Yeah, no.
I've just spent $100. I spent $100 on a 10-hour experience that then gets worse. So yeah. As I said, there was some good stuff. There was some bad stuff. There was some stuff that I'm like, that looks cool, but what's the price point going to be? Because if it's too high, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
That was the games. Yeah. I think, you know, it's one of those things where I think now as I watch it, I'm more watching to see what trends are happening as opposed to actually looking for things that I want. Because I'm like, you'll occasionally see one game that you're like, oh, that looks really good.
Yeah.
But even when you do that now, I find myself not getting excited for games like I used to. Because I think I've just become a bit jaded, but also more of a realist. You can only be handed the slop so many times with these games that are supposed to be good before you just say,
no,
I just don't expect anything good anymore, and I'm not going to spend money on it anymore.
Well, that's fair. I'm still thinking, I just remembered it now. House Flipper 2. I know we talked about it ages ago. I'm like, I still want to kind of give that a try, because it does still look to be better than the first one. And I did enjoy playing that for a bit.
Yeah, I think my problem with House Flipper 2 is, once again, the price point.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think that it's a fun little game that has a lot of, like, little fun aspects to it.
Yeah.
I think they're asking too much money for it. I'd have to double check. But I definitely remember looking at it and being like, oh, yeah, that looks okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. My main thing is it just looked, you know, it looked like they had more options. It looked crisper. But,
yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's still games that I want to play. I'm just very realistic now about getting them. Whereas I used to be more like, oh, I want to play this game. I'll buy it right now.
Yeah.
Now I look at a game and say, I want to play this, but it'll be number 110 in the two playlists, and the reality is I can wait.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I think that's kind of where a lot of us are now falling, because I'm sitting there going like, of course I can wait. I'm not needing to play this tomorrow.
No.
So I might as well wait for sale, save myself some money, get it when it's going.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like lately, even the games that I'm looking at playing at the moment, they're all old games. None of them are anything new. The only new one that I've sort of been looking at recently is Expedition 33.
You should definitely give that a go.
I plan to.
I intend to start playing Path of Exile 2. I bought that recently because I really, 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 really like the look of it.
Yeah.
It is a game like Diablo. I don't know how much you know about it, but
I know
it's a game like Diablo. Yeah. I quite like those games, and this one cost me $45.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And that's not even like me buying on sale. That's just its cost. It's cost
okay, yeah, shit, that's actually good, yeah.
And I was like, I was watching all of the release stuff for it. I was like, I really want to play that game.
Yeah.
And I was just I was putting it off. I don't know why I was putting it off, but I was just putting it off. I was like, oh no. I think part of me was because I haven't played the first game, and I was like, oh no. But then I was just like, the other day I was like, it's not that expensive, and fuck it, I might as well jump in and have some fun playing a game that's actually fun and has a lot of kind of stuff to it. And so yeah, I bought that. I'm happy with it.
Perfect.
I haven't started playing it yet, but like as I said, I bought a very good looking game for $45. How can you be mad at that?
Well, yeah, that's it.
And yeah, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah. We just need more games like that, to be honest.
I think the truth is that there is a lot of games out there that are good, and what we actually need is to give games more of a chance.
True, yeah. That's
to get out of this cycle of, oh, they've just come out, quickly get on them and play them, and actually just wait, sit on them a bit. I really like the fact that PlayStation games are coming to Steam, purely for the fact that not every PlayStation game is coming to Steam.
Yeah.
Only the good ones are.
Oh yeah, of course.
So yeah, it takes them like a year past the day they came out on the PlayStation to come. But I'm not wasting my money on crappy PlayStation games. I'm like, oh, that's not as good as I was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah, well, if it's coming across to Steam, you know it's going to be a good game because everyone wants it to come across, so it is coming across. So it makes sense.
Exactly. It at least has a enough of a supporting fan base that they were like, yeah, we might as well make a port of this because it will make us money.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But yeah. Now, other than that, Chris, I was just thinking about like, life in general and being like, because something that happens quite occasionally is people go to me, oh, you never do anything, and I'm like, I don't understand what they mean by that.
That's a fair point.
The reality of life is that I work, I play sport, I watch sport, and with the little amount of time I have left, I like to play video games.
And that's understandable. Or board games when we can get everyone together.
I would really want more time to play board games, but it's just... The truth is...
It's just not viable at the moment.
Well, like, I just don't have enough people to really do it. Because, like, people go like, oh, you like board games, Kris likes board games, play board games. It's like, most board games require
you want at
two
least
people.
You want at least 4 for a lot of games. It's like
4 to 6, and it's like you need to get 4 to 6 people who actually have the time to do it.
Yeah,
and want to do it.
Now there are some games that we can play the two of us, but there's only so much you can do as a two. Because I tend to fall into a pattern of like Spectre Ops. I tend to fall in a pattern of using the same character because I've sort of figured out how to use him well, and I can keep doing it. Whereas if I was to add in another 2 to 3 people helping me, it'd be fantastic. Yeah. It'd be so much more fun because it makes it harder for you for one.
Well, the other thing is like there are games that are designed for 2 players. I don't own it yet, but there's one that I really want to get. Yeah. But it's a big game.
It's fair.
But yeah, so I was like thinking about it, and people being like, "Oh, you don't do much," and I'm like, I actually do
a lot
comparatively.
Well, especially if you compare it to me. You do a shit ton compared to me.
But I'm like, the thing is, and it's these people who are like, oh, you don't really do a lot, that I like look at. I'm like, but do you?
It's actually a fair point.
Like,
especially when that person's just like, yeah, I go to the pub. It's like, cool. That's nothing.
It's like, cool.
That's barely anything.
That's one thing. You do
one
thing.
That's one thing that should.
That's like me saying I watch sports.
Yeah.
It's like, but like, I'm just like, I'm an adult, and unfortunately that means that
we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah. I'm like, I look at things and go, oh, I can't afford to do that, and people say like, oh, well, you can just pay us back, we'll pay for. I'm like, no. I mean, not money wise. I'm like, time wise, I just don't have the time in my life to allocate a time to that. Yeah. And like, I look at things, and people are like, oh, you're boring, you haven't done anything. And it's like, oh no, I do things. It's like I'm out there playing sport. I spend my whole Saturday pretty much doing softball. Pretty much. Yeah. And it's like people are like, oh yeah, but that's like not really. It's like, what do you mean that's not a thing? And it's like, what do you do on your Saturday? Well, I sleep in and then I go to work. Okay, cool. How is that doing a thing?
That is nothing compared to what you're doing.
But that's kind of what I found funny is that I'm like, the people who are like, oh, you don't do anything, you're boring. I'm like, okay, well, what do you do? I go to work. Well, so do I. Yeah, but I work more than you. So what? So you're more boring than me?
Yeah, that's effectively what they're saying. Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, but then I go out and on the one weekend I have free, I go and do stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have free weekends.
No.
It's like, that's the difference. And when I go and do stuff, I do make it big, and I try and have a really good time. It's just that
it's just
as you get older, you realize that the good times are less frequent. And I think that's the reality that a lot of these people who are like saying that haven't come to yet is like, it's sort of like the answer is if someone looks at me and goes, oh, you don't do a lot and you're pretty boring. I'm like, okay, well, grow up.
Pretty much.
That's the answer.
No, that is fair.
You're still living like a child who thinks that you can, that thinks that, well, to put a little bit on our good mate Jordan, who thinks that going to the clubs every week is doing something, and it's like, well, it's.
I mean, on a technicality, it is, but it's not much.
Is it?
I mean, he gets nothing out of it in the end. In the end, you get nothing out of it.
Like what he's doing now, what he's doing now is doing something. Being
Yes.
in Europe, having a great time, he's actually doing something.
Yeah, he
My
might
problem is when he comes back, he's going to be back in Rockhampton, not doing anything.
Exactly.
And he's not going to have a way to deal with that. But I think the other big thing is that I'm like, to a lot of people, I'm just like, I don't think you understand what stuff actually is.
Yeah.
Because I kind of deal with people and they're like, oh, you spent that Sunday playing board games with everyone. I'm like, yeah, we went to someone's house, we played board games all day, we had a few drinks, we, just had a good time hanging out. And they're like, yeah, but that's not really doing anything. It's like, what are you talking about? That was a great day. That was something I enjoyed doing. Oh, yeah, but you could have gone to the beach. Yeah, but I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, and I agree. That is a big difference. It's like as long as you're going out, like you don't even have to go out. As long as you're enjoying yourself,
as long as you're having fun.
As long as you're having fun. Now, whether that's by yourself or with friends, who cares? As long as you're having fun, you're doing something.
Yeah.
If you're going to the pub because it's like, oh, it's just what I do. It's like, well, then you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're just going to the pub.
Like, oh yeah, I'm going and doing this crazy thing every weekend. It's like, why? But
yeah,
I think it's just something that I've noticed is that people are like, oh, you're boring. And it's like, why am I boring? And it's like, because you don't do anything. It's like, how would you know?
Yeah.
And the second thing is like, okay, well, what do you do? And then they give you like the same mundane answers. And you're like, okay, but you've just given me like, what you do is also nothing.
Pretty much.
It's just you go out and like, oh, well, if I don't have anything to do, I go out to the pub to see people. And it's like, well, how is that better?
No.
What do you mean? Well, who's at the pub? I don't know. I'll just go and see if there's anyone out there. It's like, well, that's not doing anything. That's literally wasting your time and money.
Well, that's it. It's like yesterday I went out for lunch. Didn't even have lunch because all we did was sat there and talked for 3 hours.
Lame. Eat some fucking food.
Fuck off. We had one drink. But
Food.
Yes, I know, but the thing is, we just lost track of time. Because, you just keep talking, that sort of thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you've actually got to go do this thing. Yeah, fair enough, we should get out.
Just have food. We're going to just, sat down and ordered some food.
Yes, we could have. We could have.
You can't talk over a bowl of chips.
I know that, but
sorry,
we lost track of time.
We can't talk right now. There's a bowl of chips in the way.
No, but let's finish this first.
But I do understand what you say. Because, like when I'm actually out with people I want to be out with, I can sit there and talk to them and just not pay attention to anything.
And as far as I'm concerned, that is doing something.
Yeah.
Because, but my main point of it is, most people would look at that and be like, you didn't do anything. It's like, no, spent time with someone I wanted to actually spend time with, had a good time, and that's it.
I think the reality is that people don't understand what it is to not do something. And it's like, because I cop flack for this all the time. And it's like, but you're just playing video games. And it's like, yes, because I've literally spent the last week working.
Yeah.
Doing other things I've got to do, As much as I love softball and all the stuff that goes with it, coaching and umpiring is exhausting.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, I'm taking some time for myself to do something that I enjoy.
Yeah. Well,
it's like, yeah, but you're just playing video games. And it's like, okay, well, what do you do when you have some time to wind down? I watch TV shows. How is that any different?
Actually, it's less engaging.
It is.
It's far less engaging.
I've had this argument with so many people where they're just like, oh yeah, but I watch a TV show and I'll just sit there on my phone and watching a TV show. And it's like, how do you think that's a better thing than playing a video game?
Yeah.
How have you converted into your mind that is better than playing a video game and watching a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
It's like because more people do my one doesn't make it better.
No, it's like,
in fact, it probably shows that it's a bigger problem in society.
Yes, it's like a similar sort of thing I've had.
But it's like, oh, but you don't go out and see your friends. I'm like, it's because I honestly don't need to go out and see my friends every day. And I think this is again kind of coming back to that thing where I'm like, I think the solution when someone's like, oh, you don't do anything, is just look at them and say, well, you need to grow up.
Yeah.
Become an adult, get some responsibility, learn what it's like to actually be an adult, is because it's like,
And people
when
also,
you're an adult, you don't get to see your friends every day. However, it's like, oh, but you know, what about Kris? I see Kris when I go to the gym. I see Kris when we're working together. I see Kris when we actually want to hang out.
Yeah.
I don't need to be like, oh, you know, I've got nothing on today and Kris has nothing on today. I'll go see what he's doing. No, because I don't want to see Kris.
And the thing is, people need to understand.
Very ugly.
People need to understand the difference between I'm not doing anything today and I've got nothing planned.
Yes.
Two very different things, as much as there are so many people who think they're exactly the same thing.
Yes.
If I say I'm not doing anything today, don't fucking ask me to do anything. I'm not going to. I've got nothing planned means I've got nothing planned. If you've got an idea, I might be up for it.
That's sort of my other thing though.
Yeah.
Like, and I this is something that I've always been like super thing on.
Huh.
People go to me, oh, but you don't want to do things, and it's like, no. I never say that.
No.
I am quite literally the type of person who, if I agree to do something, I fucking do it.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't agree to do things without, like, if someone says to me, oh, we're just going down to Yeppoon. I'm like, okay, what's the plan? Oh, we're just going to go down there and kind of see what happens. I don't agree to do that shit.
No.
Because I'm like, okay, you don't have a plan, so what's going to happen is we're going to drive down there, we're going to sit around for a bit doing nothing, be bored out of our brains, and then be like, okay, let's head around.
It'll probably be more than likely drive down to Yeppoon to go to one of the pubs there.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay. Now you have to think about it from my standpoint, which is I've just wasted a bunch of time because there was nothing there.
No.
Whereas two very real examples of things that I've done are, well, actually, let's give three, right? First of all, in November, I've already agreed to go and play water polo on an island.
Shit, I did that too.
Yeah. Except, unlike you, because I've said I'm going to do it, it's 100% guaranteed.
I'm doing the same thing. I've said yes, I'm going to.
Yeah, but, like, that's...
I have bailed out of certain things.
Exactly. You do bail, I do not.
The last couple of times I've bailed was literally mental reasons. I couldn't stand going out. So I won't, unless something like that's happening, I'm not going to bail.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, even if I'm not happy, if I've said I'm going to do something, I fucking go and do it. I never bail. That's kind of...
Oh, yeah.
No. I never bail. So... there's that. That's something in the future that's happening.
Yeah.
And as I said, I don't bail. I said I'm going to do something, I do it.
Yeah.
Don't give a damn what you think.
Fair.
The other one is my trip with Jordan.
Yep.
Again, that was something months in advance when he was like, oh, I'm planning doing this. I was like, okay, I'm in. Just let me know who else is coming. No one. Because all these other people were like, oh, yeah, that sounds really cool. Bail. So...
yeah, whereas I just immediately said no because I'm like, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
I would, but I can't.
And then, like, Anna's birthday, again.
Yeah, we were going for that.
Well, the thing was, like, I was already going to be there. Like, I
No,
don't...
same
because, again, unlike you...
I was already going to be there.
No, you were going for a reason.
Yeah.
I was literally going because I was asked, hey, we're going to do this. Do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I was going for a reason.
So
and then when I was told about it, I was like, I'm going to be there anyway. Yes.
Yeah.
Would I have ggone if I didn't have that on? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course I would have.
But, like, my thing is, again, I was already going to be in Brisbane doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because I had played...
Oh, that's right, because you'd agreed to come with us.
I had said I would go with you
right,
pretty much to keep Jordan company.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that part because we had the other stuff happening, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll go and I'll just bomb around with Jordan.
Yeah.
Instead of going to this thing that you were going to. And, like... but that's the thing, it's like, that's three examples of me doing stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't do it all the time, but again, that's because I'm an adult, and it's like, when I do things, I do them right. Yeah. It's like, yes.
You go hard when you do.
I'm like, this is something that I'm like, okay, whatever. It's not something I can do every weekend. It's not something, and they're not things that you can do every weekend, but when I do say, let's do something fun, let's do something big, I commit to it, and I always do it. And I'm like, for me, personally, I feel like that's a better kind of thing to have, where it's like, if I say to someone, yeah, I'll come do this thing with you, they know that I'm gonna go do it with them.
Oh yeah.
Whereas there are so many people I know who are like, yeah, we'll do this thing, and you're like, okay, you ready to do this thing? And they're like, oh, nah, sorry, I'm not gonna do it now. Something's come up, and you're like, right. And I find it funny because it's like those are the people who are like, oh, but you never do anything. It's like, are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
I'm constantly doing big things.
Yeah.
Like every year I have something big that's coming up that is, balls to the walls crazy.
Yeah.
And you people, when I'm out there doing it, are like, oh, I wish I was doing that. And it's like, then fucking do it.
Well, it's like your current idea of what to do this year.
What am I doing this year? Oh, my
The
Halloween
party. Halloween party. Chris, we've discussed this.
So much happened in
We've
my life.
discussed this in length.
Yeah, I think I've changed. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, that does make sense.
Yeah.
It has been like pushed to the back of my life. I've also changed my
Your outfit idea?
outfit idea this year.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm gonna be a cowboy. I want to be a cowboy at one of our Halloween parties because I want this to become something that we do. But this year, I think I'm gonna go as a Dodger.
Fair enough.
Like just dress up in my baseball gear and be like, I'm a Dodger.
Yep, fair. Well, it's going to be a lot cheaper for you this year because you've already got a lot of
You
stuff.
say that. You say that. You say it's gonna be a lot cheaper. I've bought that stuff. That
I
stuff is
know.
not necessarily cheap.
But yes, I know it's not necessarily cheap, but you've also bought a lot of that stuff
for a purpose.
for a purpose.
Yes.
Whereas when you're going to buy the cowboy outfit, the purpose is that party.
Yeah.
And maybe something else down the track. But for the foreseeable future, it's
Tabletop
that
role
party.
playing games where I'm a cowboy.
Oh, fuck. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Look, fair enough. I see.
Because you know what? That is something that I actually would do. Is like
Oh, it'd be fucking
Dude.
hilarious and fun.
every week or every 2 weeks. Like if we had a good tabletop RPG group,
Oh, yeah.
I would definitely dress up as my character and sit at the table as my character. Because why the fuck wouldn't I?
That would be fun.
I literally don't give a shit what people think about me.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm all about the aesthetics and fun.
Yeah.
And
of
so,
course.
that's sort of my whole thing. So I'm like, yeah, why the fuck wouldn't I? If we had something locked in where we had people who were actually interested in doing it and doing it often,
Yeah.
I'd be like, absolutely, let's fucking do this thing.
Yeah, I'd be down to do it.
And then I'd rock up in like the first week and be like, yo. And they'd be like, why are you dressed like that? And I'd be like, because this is my character. And
This
they'd
is
be like-
happening every week. Every
and
fortnight.
I
Have fun.
guarantee you, as time went on, people would start
Everyone
to
would
dress
join.
as their characters.
Of course they
because they'd be like, you know what? And
You'd
it's
be like, you know what? Fuck it. We're in there doing it. May as well.
And you know what? And the other thing is like, that's not even me like planning to film it and put it on the internet, even though that's something I really want to do one day.
That would be fun.
That's just me wanting to do it in that group.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, because you know what? I feel like one of the things I often do is go hard.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, I know.
I kind of explained that in the whole thing of
Yeah, the
I
thing
go back
before.
out.
Yeah.
I go hard. If I say I'm gonna do something, I do it.
Yeah.
And I go hard. And the reason is I feel like if I go hard, other people feel more comfortable going hard as well.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of getting a bunch of people who are kind of like, oh, I don't want to be the person who, overdoes it.
Yeah.
And like when everyone else is just like being like, oh yeah, no, we're just here to be on our phones and occasionally participate.
No.
And it's like, because everyone's like, oh, if that's how the vibe's going to be, then I don't want to be the person who's... But I'm like, if I just fucking go hard, right? If I just fucking go hard, then everyone else
People
is
might
like...
actually put their fucking phones down.
Well, I'm like, if I go hard, then everyone else is like, oh, well, okay, I'm not... If I, put a little bit more effort into this, I'm not the person who's, overdoing it.
Yeah.
He is. And it's like, yeah, sure, I am. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't give a
Fuck.
fuck.
Who gives a shit?
And it's like, and then as that happens, people will go like, oh, we can actually get more involved in this and have more fun doing this. And like, but that's my thing. Like, the whole reason I brought this up is like, I think it's hilarious because people often say to me, oh, you don't do anything. It's like, well, actually I do a lot. And then the other thing is it's like, but I only do things that I actually enjoy.
Oh, of course. Why would you do anything else?
There are so many people out there who are like, oh yeah, but I'm doing stuff. And it's like, do you enjoy it? Oh, not really. I kind of don't want to be here right now. It's like, then you're not doing stuff. You're just fucking wasting time.
That's exactly what it
You're
is.
doing something you don't want to be doing.
But having said that, the whole thing about going hard, more and more recently, I'm finding that I'm doing that more and more often.
Yeah, why?
And going harder. I don't know what the hell's changed, but it's maybe I've hung around you too much. But the point is, I've been doing it more often. Like at the Bucks party that we had a few weeks ago, it's like definitely I was the one going hard.
But that's the thing.
I'm
It's
like, yeah.
Like, okay, let's go back to Anna's birthday, right?
Yeah.
That night,
Yeah.
cocktail Darcy.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He was going hard. When we got to the clubs, going hard. And the reason is, you have more fun if you just commit.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And if you commit, other people around you commit.
Well, yeah, it's probably one of the first events that I've gone to where I've just gone, fuck it, let's go.
And the other thing is, like, you know, if you just let go a little bit of this whole thing of being like, oh, hang on, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, and you're like, no, this is my time to have fun. This is something that I've planned to have fun at, and I'm going to make sure I have fun, and you just go with that. People around you have more fun as well.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
And, you know, that's the thing. Whereas there are so many times where people are too concerned with, oh, I can't do that because it would look bad. It would, you know, oh, me acting like that, oh, that would look bad to everyone around me, and I need them all to think I'm so awesome all the time. And it's like, you know what? No one has ever looked at someone having fun and been like, that person's stupid.
Well, people have, but generally they're just
stupid
themselves, because they're just the ones off the side being, oh, he's stupid. Why am I here?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But, like, you know, like, and when you're having fun, other people start to have fun. It's a contagious experience, and I think that's the important thing. And it's like, if you just go, if you're doing stuff just for the sake of doing it, you're not having fun, and it spreads to the people around you. It's contagious. But if you're out there actually doing things you want to do, like, whenever I go and see Rhett's band play, it's like, I want to do that. Not because I want to go to the clubs.
No.
And when they're playing, it's not like a club, it's a gig.
It's a gig,
everyone's in there having fun. It's like, yeah, I'm having a great time. When they stop playing, I'm like, cool, I'm going to chat to them for a bit, and then I'm going to go home because I don't want to be here when this comes.
Yeah, effectively, you were going there to support Rhett and then just have fun at the same time.
Exactly. And it's like, but you see so many people who are just like, oh no, I've got to stay because now the club's coming on and all these people are coming. And it's like, but do you actually want to be around these people? Do you want to be here?
No.
But it's a club and this is where everyone is, and I'm going to hang out with all of these. And you're like, okay, well, you have fun. I'm going home, and I'm going to have fun. I'm going to, you know, go do what I want to do.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's the big thing. Like, people think doing stuff is going to places and doing things that you don't particularly want to.
No.
And it's like, no, that's not doing something. That's just literally wasting your time. If there's ever a point where you think, I could be doing this, you're wasting your fucking time.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, if I'm somewhere and I think I could be doing this, I'm just wasting my time because I'm thinking of other things I would rather be doing. And if I'm thinking of other things I'd rather be doing, then I don't particularly want to be here doing this thing. And if I've done that, I really should reevaluate. And I think anyone who does that and thinks that because, you know, even though they don't want to be there, because they're out doing something, it counts for something.
Yeah, no.
Who the fuck do you think's keeping score? You think fucking St. Pete's sitting up there at the pearly gates being like, yes, well, this person did a lot of things they didn't want to do just so they could say they were doing things. So they get a 59 on their score. And this person only ever did things that they wanted to do, but they enjoyed doing it. But people around them didn't think they were doing stuff, so they get a 1.
Yeah, no.
And I think, again, maybe I'm just old and jaded, but I think maybe also social media is a bit to blame for that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, here's a snap of me doing something. I'm at the beach. It's like, okay, who cares? Oh, here's a snap of me at a pub. Oh, here's a snap. And it's like, I always say this when it comes to this kind of idea, right? And it's really simple. If you're having a really good time,
your phone's not in your hand.
You're not snapping it to everyone because you're in the moment. You're having a great time. You're living that moment.
Oh, the same thing happened for the box party. They turned around and said, hey, did you just get any photos? It's like, no.
Exactly.
No, we didn't. There was a couple of photos that we did get because it was like, yeah, no, we've got to get a photo of this just to remind him it happened. But outside of that, it's no. We didn't touch our phones at all.
Yeah. Well, I think of the snow trip is my one, because I'm like, I did take quite a few videos and photos and all that kind of stuff for me. I took them for me.
They weren't for anyone else. Yes, a couple of them went up on the channel. Go watch those.
Yeah,
they're pretty. There's a funny
the good ones I did share with people because I'm like, this is hilariously funny.
Yeah,
But like the reason I was taking the photos is because it was for me. I wanted
Yeah.
to remember certain points and memories and stuff.
Yeah.
The videos I got with my GoPro there for me, and it's like, but that's the thing that I think a lot of people are getting wrong these days. Oh, look at what I'm doing. Here's my Snapchat. Send that to everyone I know so that they can see I'm doing stuff. And it's like, okay, but yeah, what are you actually doing? Whereas when you've got your phone out and you're actually enjoying it, it's like, this is for me.
Oh, yeah.
Bang.
100%.
This is a memory for me, not so that I can show everyone what I'm doing because I have to keep them up to date with all the fun I'm having all the time. But it's like, this is for me.
Well, let's put it this way. I like, for me, in that same situation, how much of my holiday in November that I put up on anything? That's just none. I didn't do any of that. That, like, because I had fun. As you said, the memories are for me. Will I show people some of the photos? Yeah, because I thought they were funny or fun, so I showed. But other than that,
Hopefully not.
Yeah, but I haven't actually put anything up on social media because I just don't care enough to do it anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I think social media has warped people's idea of how doing stuff actually thinks, because like it's a mentality of, if I didn't get a photo, if it's not on social media, it didn't happen. And it's like, no. It's like some of the best times no one takes a picture of because everyone's just there in the moment. And then no one's being like, hold on, let me get my phone so I can share this with everyone. It's like, no, because it's not for everyone.
No, and and having said that, it's then just fun to tell the story later.
Yeah,
if you want to tell the story.
But I think that is something else that people need to kind of come back to and realize, is that like, it is not for everyone.
No.
A moment where a bunch of people who are together and they're having like the best time ever in that moment, that's for those people. Yeah. You don't then share it with everyone who was like, oh, well, we didn't come there, but oh, yeah, that was awesome. Now I'm part of that moment. No, you're not part of that moment. You weren't there. You may have got a photo of it or seen a video of it, but you weren't there. That moment's not for you.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the big thing. But anyway, I think we've been going long enough, so let's wrap this up.
Indeed.
Guys, thank you for joining us. If you have liked the video, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. If you haven't already, it really does mean a lot to us here, especially when we're so close to breaking 300.
Let's break it. Come on.
If you want to see more from me and Kris, check out the rest of the channel. We play video games averagely. It's what we do.
Yeah.
We also chat on the podcast about lots of topics, kind of whatever we're feeling that week.
Yeah.
And yeah, guys, that's about it. So thank you for joining us. I've been Darcy. Here's Ugly McUglyface, better known as Kris.
He remembered this time. Every time.
But we will catch you next time, right here on the channel. See you later, guys.
See ya.